Hello, and you're with the Emerald Bolt, and this is part 2 on the elements of harmony. This week's subject is going to be on specifically the main six. If you want to see last week's subject, it will be on the screen or in the description. It is on the stones of the element of harmony. Now, to business. The main six. Now, the main six are the first group of ponies to truly embody the elements of harmony. When Celestia and Luna used the elements of harmony, they didn't embody them. They simply commanded them like someone using a weapon, which they are to a degree. But the main six truly embody the elements of harmony. Now, a viewer last week mentioned that the elements of harmony have been returned to the Tree of Harmony and possibly absorbed by the main six. This is an interesting theory. I actually like the sound of this, but we don't know whether that's true or whether it's not, because during the entirety of Season 5, none of the elements have used their elemental power to defeat a opponent. We haven't seen any of that. It's just been regular magic and friendship lessons and blah 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 blah, which is nice because it's kind of getting the series is kind of getting back to its core roots that it had in Season 1 and 2. Nevertheless, so do they actually possess the element of harmony internally now? If they do, that raises two questions. One, what happens if they were to become corrupted again, like Discord did in the beginning of Season 2? Would that mean that they become the elements of disharmony? Because they actually became the elements of disharmony in those two episodes of Season 2, which is interesting. That's getting slightly off track. That's not, well, confirmed canon, so we'll leave that for another time. So, eventually, the main thing I'm getting at is that do the main six require the stones or not? We don't know this because we haven't seen a use for them yet. But would they have to retrieve the stones from the tree of harmony underneath Twilight's castle in order to use them, or is the power imbued in the main six now? I don't know. Well, we don't know. We'll find out in Season 6 if and when they are called upon to use their elemental powers to defeat a foe, whoever that might be. Who knows? It would be nice if King Sombra came back. Although I did like his tribute in Season 5. That was kind of good. Getting off topic. Anyway, so, apart from all of that, if they have absorbed the elements, what happens if they die or get too old to be of use? Can they pass that energy, that effect, to someone else, a relative, a friend, a confidant, or do they have to die first and the energy is transferred back to the stones, maybe? Or is it gifted onto their children that they'll have in the future? It's a lot of speculation and there's a lot more questions than there is answers, because we're getting too far down the track in order to safely predict or guess what the possible answer would be to those questions. Now, moving back to the main six. So, our six ponies. So, Twilight, Rarity, Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Pinkie Pie. Now, I was thinking specifically, do they actually fulfill the roles of the elements they're supposed to represent? Because some of them I think are fillers more than anything else. I don't mean to detriment the characters. I like all of the main six. And I don't mean to offend anyone who is a fan of anyone I detriment, but this is just me looking at it from a more technical role, I suppose. So we'll go over we'll start from the obvious ones and then work our way to the detrimental ones. So we got Pinkie Pie, who is the element of laughter. I mean, there's nothing else to say. She's the element of laughter, and I don't question it at all. It's as simple as that. And Fluttershy being the element of kindness. Now, that's it's a bit but no, I understand. It's more than applicable for her to be also the element of kindness. So we're getting to our more ease kind of things, but one more left is Applejack being the element of honesty. That makes sense because she's a hard-working farm pony who's just a straightforward kind of gal who just tells it how it is. Also makes reasonable amount of sense, but the last three are a bit iffy. So we got Rainbow Dash, who's supposed to be the element of loyalty. Now, honestly, I don't think loyalty is the right word. I mean, she's loyal, but it's not an aspect. It's not really an. It's an aspect of friendship, but it's not an aspect of her personality as much as courage would be. Rainbow Dash is would much more a fulfill the element of courage if the element of courage existed rather than the element of loyalty, because she's always keen to get stuck in. She's got the courage to see a job through. I think courage is more of an applicable emotion to Rainbow Dash than loyalty. It's just that is my opinion, but you can see where I'd be coming from. Now we've got our two unicorns left. Now it's obvious that one, either Rarity or Twilight, had to be the element of magic, because how can you have an element of magic and not be a unicorn? It doesn't make any physical sense if you were to apply the logic to it. Speaking of which, what the hell is the element of magic? I mean, is that like the spark of friendship, that's underlining magical thing that makes you friends with someone? I mean, it's so questionable when you think about it. It's like, what is magic? What is the element of magic? I guess it would be the equivalent of being that oomph, that cement that just glues a friendship together. But again, it could have been Rarity or Twilight who actually fulfilled that role. It just happened to be Twilight. And then it brings me to Rarity being the element of generosity. Now, Rarity doesn't actually show being generous that often on the show. All the other elements represent their own elements much more often than Rarity being generous. I don't want to be horrible to Rarity. Rarity is one of my favorite main characters, but honestly, I think she was just a filler to put in it, like, a requirement to have the second unicorn of the group, and a requirement to fill the element of generosity. It's a bit iffy, unfortunately. That also brings me a side note about Starlight, considering that we now have an unbalanced main six. So originally, until the ending of season 3, we had 2 unicorns, 2 earth ponies, and 2 pegasi. Now we only have 1 unicorn and an alicorn. If Starlight comes back, she could fulfill the role within the main 7 as the second unicorn. But that would also raise the question of what kind of element would she represent? And you know what? Element she would represent perfectly, and that is forgiveness. Now, there is only 6 elemental stones, and this is probably not going to happen. But if there was a 7th elemental stone, it would be forgiveness. Because in a friendship, we all make mistakes with our friends, and forgiveness is a key part to get past that mistake and to continue a good friendship. She could be the redemption part of the equation more than anything else. I think she would fit that to a T. She would also balance it back out to two of everything apart from Twilight being an alicorn, but we can't have 2 alicorns. It doesn't make any sense. So those are my thoughts on a few other things. So apart from all of this, there will be a part 3 next week, which I will, well, I'll go into detail next week. But I hope you enjoyed. Hit a milestone today, 50 subscribers. 50 people out there in the world actually want to listen to my content constantly. Thanks. Thank you MLP fans, because some of them are not MLP fans. Some of them are Company of Hero people. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please comment in the comments below. I will respond to most things. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you next week for part 3. Until then, you've been with the Emerald Bolt. Ciao, guys.